This video is on working with exponents. So one of the things I want you to concentrate when we do this video is that you're going to be looking for shortcuts when we're working with exponents, because there are lots of little shortcuts that we take when we're doing math, and it helps you to make things go much faster. We're also going to be doing some multiplication with exponents. We're going to be doing power of powers, and we're also going to do some examples so that you're ready to go and do some problems on your own. So just kind of going back to the shortcut example, if I asked you to tell me how many squares are in this figure altogether, you could do that a couple different ways, right? So some of you, I hope not many of you, might have the temptation to just go through and count one at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And it'll take a little while, right? Well, others of you might figure out like, well, I've got 11 squares in each row, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right here. So the shortcut there is to multiply 7 rows by 11 squares. 7 times 11 is 77. So you're not only faster, you're probably going to be more accurate if you're trying to figure out something with a shortcut. So I want you to kind of put on that detective mindset and look for shortcuts as we go through this lesson and the next video lesson as well, and see what we can do to make our lives a little bit easier, okay? So when we're talking about exponents, we have some terms that are really important for you to know. The big number that we look at is called the base. So big number is your base. And then the 5 up there in the corner is the exponent, or the power. So in this example, it would be read as 2 to the 5th power. Okay. So if we wrote that out, it would look like this. 2 to the 5th power is not 2 times 5. And we say that all the time. Math teachers say that all the time. It's not 2 times 5. It's 2 times itself 5 times. 2 times itself 5 times. And so if we write it out, it just looks like that. And then if I take my calculator out, and I just put in there 2 to the 5th, and every calculator looks a little bit different, but if I put 2, and then on my calculator, I'm going to let my thing focus here, I'm going to press X to the Y, my X to the Y button, and there's a little indentation there, and then I'm going to put the 5, and then I'm going to close my parentheses. Sometimes it makes you close the parentheses, sometimes it doesn't. So 2 to the 5th is 32, because 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 6, times 2 is 16, and times 2 is 32. So 2 to the 5th power is 32. So I could simplify that and just put 32. 3 to the 2nd power is going to be 3, not times 2, 3 times itself twice. So 3 times 3, that might be a little bit faster for you. That's just 9. And then we've got 2 to the 3rd, because I want to kind of throw you off a little bit and see different ways, right? 2 times itself 3 times. So 2 times 2 times 2. So 2, 4, 8 is going to be your answer on that one. And then finally, what happens if you have a variable, right? Like, what can you do? Well, t to the 4th is t times itself 4 times. But unfortunately, you really can't simplify it at all, okay? So sometimes you can get a nice clean number. Maybe it's a decimal, maybe it's a really big number, maybe it's a nice simple whole number. Other times you're just going to get variables and you can just stick with them as they were, because that's about as simple as it's going to get.